What's up, Eric? Good to see you. Ari Star. Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to Dango Thoughts Simulation Talk 119. Scar-faced. That's good. Drama and Run, Body, Mind, Soul. Welcome everybody. There we go. There's some people coming on YouTube as well. Thank you for the likes, guys. And TikTok and Twitch. Hopefully we'll start picking up. Evan, Princess Allie, Wheezy, Teresina. We're waiting just a little bit more. Welcome everybody to Simulation Talk 119. Okay. I think we can start. I'll do a short intro. Welcome everybody to Simulation Talk 119. To all the newcomers, this channel usually revolves around simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny and I'm claiming to have found actual proof that we live in a simulation. 1 second. A few years ago, I've discovered that under certain conditions, you can literally see the code of reality, and this observation is replicable 100% of the time. This got me some attention, and we are meeting here every single day to discuss the experiment, the implications, as well as the details of what is meant by the word simulation. And we talk in general about science, about religion, spirituality, God, whatever comes to mind. By the way, Joshua, I see that you're coming in. I'm still doing some intros. Don't mind bringing anybody on today. It might be a pretty short conversation, but in either case, if you don't mind, if you can just drop the subject matter that you want to talk about in the chat. That way I know what to prepare and what we're going to be chatting about. And we will take it from there. Thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Okay. By the way, to all the people on TikTok, if you feel like you want to see longer formats of my videos here on TikTok, you can check out my YouTube channel, which is Dango Thoughts, D-A-N-G-O Thoughts, which has a lot more of the details of what we're discussing, including the experiment that I was proposing, which is that I discovered a few years ago that if you project a diffractive laser on the surface and you ingest a particular molecule that I can't really name here, you will see code running in surfaces. And this observation has now been substantiated over 1,000 times worldwide and connected me with some pretty interesting people, which started a conversation that is now slowly bringing us closer to officially creating a research program around the experiment. Thank you, the Beer City is saying that it's a really interesting experiment. Appreciate you. Okay, see, we have a lot of newcomers today. I guess it's a Sunday at night. So I welcome all the newcomers. If you have any particular questions about specifics, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, feel free to ask. Yesterday we had a long discussion about the nature of spirituality. What is its connection to what we call physical matter, science, and all of these good things. We'll see what we chat about today. But it should be pretty fun either way. I should get a chair. Oh, Saturday night. Sorry. Yeah. I don't even know what day it is anymore, which is a good thing. I feel that it's a blessed state to be able to not need to know what day exactly it is. But yeah, it is Saturday night. Thank you for the correction, Caroline. I think I want to grab a chair real quick. Mani is saying, by simulation, do you mean the source of this is a type of supercomputer ran by higher and more advanced civilization? In short, yes. But the deeper proposition is that the world itself is computational at bottom. So it's not like there's an external reality or base reality. The real world is what we call computational and deeper than what we understand currently by using that word. And what we call the physical world is one subset of this larger computational space. So there is no getting out of the matrix, so to speak. The matrix is just this infinite array of multidimensional spaces that are constantly evolving. But yes, they are being ran. They run on some kind of a substrate. So yes. What went through your mind, like when it hit you when you first discovered this beyond the simple wow? You mean when yeah, we're approaching this in the film. To be honest, in the first moment, I think I was immediately engaged with, okay, what is this? And trying to figure it out. I think it's only when I started showing other people it really dawned on me how crazy what I discovered actually is. Because I thought I just maybe potentially discovered something really interesting about the way that my eyes perceive it or something like this. It wasn't clear to me. But when everybody started seeing the same thing, it was a different story. We'll definitely be approaching this in the film, talking about it at some length. But yeah, it was obviously this whole journey is a little crazy. And because I was aiming for it for years, it wasn't like a haphazard thing. It was, that I projected a laser by mistake and all of a sudden I saw something. I was aiming there. I was trying to figure out how we can potentially discover, substantiate that this is real or not real. So that's why it made it extra weird. Mark is in the house. Okay. Code of Life and Fate. Not quite. I think all of this different subset of realities, they're basically open-ended. So they're not predetermined. They're unfolding into an uncertainty space. So anything can happen outside of the inspection of even the simulators. Do you think universal consciousness is intertwined in the program? I think consciousness is the fundamental thing. So it's not even that it's intertwined within reality. Consciousness is reality. Do you believe in God? If yes, how does the Creator fit in with your studies? That's a very deep question, Manny. At this point, yes. I don't even believe. I know for a fact that God is real. I've seen, enough to understand that what we call God is a real thing. But there are many, 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 many layers. And ultimately, the thing at the top is, from so far what I saw, is not what most people think what God is. I think from what I saw, what most people mean by God is one of many. And then there is a thing at the top, but it's not what people mean. It's something a little different. It's a pretty deep subject, so I don't know if I'll have enough time to open it up today, but it's a really good question. Let me actually grab a chair. Today I feel like sitting. I usually stand. Hold on. Oh, I gotta lower this thing. There we go. That's better. Also, my hair is insane. You're a very well spoken, well thought out person. I really enjoy hearing you talk and answer questions. You're quick but very precise with your answers. You never stumble. Take care. See you later. Thank you so much for these incredible compliments, the Beer City Diver. No, I definitely stumble. That definitely happens. But I appreciate it. I enjoy speaking, and I enjoy speaking in a way that people derive pleasure from. So I appreciate that. Rob B is saying heaven and hell are states of mind, in my humble opinion. I appreciate your opinion, but from what I saw, that is not quite the case. Or, to be more accurate, you can say it's a state of mind, but it is a state of the universal mind, which is what we call the physical space. So they are real places. Obviously, the true nature of what they really are, the different layers of reality, is of course a lot more complex than what regular language can at the moment. They're not very Englishable, let's just say it that way. But I do think that the interaction with the essence of what these things are and how it relates to what we are is an important component to take into account, especially in this part of our history. Wow, sitting is so awesome. If somebody's asking if I'm ex-Amish. No, but that's the most awesome question anybody's ever asked me. So I've definitely seen hell here in occasion heaven. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can see these things. I think the truth is that, from what I gather so far, these things are not what we make them to be, right? Like, kind of like the dark side exists, and it's not just misbehavior of human beings or anything like this. I think that's a very actually self-centered and anthropocentric point of view. I think that they are required both to exist in order for a balance to happen. Now, obviously, this is not a new idea. This is a very deep and old idea, but I think that is the case. The yin and the yang, and they both play a role in existence itself. And we are some kind of a bridge that brings both of these forces into fruition in some form in this three-dimensional space or four-dimensional space. And the way that I would define it is that evil is the shorter circuit. Like, it's the thing that cares closer and closer to just the immediate unit, the immediate here. So you kind of care only and more only about yourself. And the more good it is, the more it takes into account longer and longer arcs. The catch-22 is that you actually need the dark side, because without it, you just have the ultimate arc, i.e. God. You just have this ultimate thing that goes from alpha to omega without stopping it anywhere. So nothing happens. For anything to unfold, for any structure to exist, the dark side has to exist. And that is essentially the mass, the price, whatever you want to say, that is paid by reality for unfolding in a particular way. I think that's the balance of things. And I had this interesting thought, which I'm not proposing is, the ultimate picture, but it made a lot of sense to me, so I guess I'll share. But the thought was, what if, when certain things, there's this cyclical nature to everything, which again, this is not a new idea, of course, and not my idea, but, the cyclical nature of God kind of going into all the possibilities and just experiencing everything. And then God goes into the part of the cycle in which God remembers that it is God, and then it comes back. So everything goes back to remember that it was God. And then beings that kind of understand this thing, with the trick, the catch there is that when that happens, existence, anything that occurs, events, they will cease from existing. So they will stop happening. And the thought was, what if what we define as evil or the dark side at the moment is basically all the things in existence, all the conscious units that realized that's what was going on, but they decided that they don't want to stop existing at the moment. So they do everything they can to stop this process from remembering that you're God. Because if that happens to everything, everything stops existing. So it's almost like they say, well, no, we want to keep existing, so we're going to do everything to stop this process. I thought it was interesting. I thought it made a lot of sense. What shape do I think Earth is? A sausage. Earth is definitely sausage-like. I don't see any reason to believe that Earth is not a sausage. What shape do you think Earth is? Welcome, everybody. Is this a religious live? Not in the slightest. If anything, I lean a lot more towards the scientific perception of the world than a religious or even a spiritual, even though I am obviously on my own personal spiritual journey, but yeah, definitely not a religious channel. Somebody says in Russian. I'll try and read it because my Russian is at this point, at least the reading of it is pretty terrible, but I'll read it anyway. And I'll translate. Мы души, которые скучно, вот мы и играем в разные игры, очень даже все понятно. Which means we are souls that are bored, so here we are playing all kinds of games, and everything is pretty clear. Yeah, that's the common explanation by many spiritual circles. I personally think it's not that straightforward, but who knows, right? Time will tell. Do you believe in paranormal poltergeists? Do you believe in paranormal? Well, at this point, anything goes, right? If we live in a computational environment, a lot more is possible than previously considered. You're leaning towards it being flat. All right. There's not much I can say about that. The world is a kielbasa, exactly. A German sausage, I think. Oh, so the Russian person is in San Diego. And he says it's just easier for him to write in Russian. But it's actually pretty difficult for me to read in Russian at this point. I mean, it's a good challenge, so I'll take it. But if I have a lot of comments, I might have to skip some of those. But yeah, keep them coming. Welcome. Good to have you here. Open your eye. Hey, Nina. Welcome to the family. I mean, Artica 333, right? You're the only one that is typing in Russian, so I say the Russian person. Or the Ukrainian, sorry. I know at the moment this difference makes a big difference for people, so I don't want to assume. What's up, Nina? Good to see you. The only Russian I know is Da and Shalban. Those are two good words to know, so it's okay. Many or money? How do you pronounce it? When you say we're in a simulation, does this relate to like an electrical simulation, I guess, is the best way I can word it. That's what I'm having a hard time understanding. In the source three-dimensional, does the source even follow our perception of this world, psychic, etc.? Good questions. I'll answer them in one moment. I think what the molecule is showing us is the operating system of life, but instead of 2D program that we know, it is 3 and 4D. The question is how you access it. I'm not sure if you've done the molecule. I'm not saying you haven't, but I am saying that if you have, I'm not really sure how you land on this idea, because the molecule doesn't feel at all like anything in this space, not even a little bit. I would say it's completely orthogonal. Like there's not even a little bit of similarities between anything in our space. Definitely not organic. So I'm not really sure you, unless you're talking about the 5-MeO version. To your questions, Minnie or Mani, please correct me so I can pronounce your name correctly. When you say simulation, does it mean like electrical simulation? I think you're asking, is it like technological, or is it like what we call physical space unfolding? I think if I understand what you're asking, then the electrical type. Now, the electrical signals, they're just a really fast way of performing computation, but there's faster ways to perform computation, like quantum computation. And the truth is that the abstraction of computation is completely substrate free. So it doesn't have to be electricity. It can be anything that can be in one of two states. So binary. And that will allow for computation. I'm not sure what you mean by the second thing, which is the source three-dimensional? If you mean God, no, God is not three-dimensional. In fact, from what I saw, the hierarchy of all the gods is outside of the world. It's not really part of what we call the world. And in fact, that world is part of a trifecta system. Like there's three worlds right next to each other. One of them is our multiverse. And the other two, it wasn't clear to me what they are, but all of them are not where the gods reside. Like the gods are outside of that. It's like a separate space. And then they all align in a way that is hierarchical, and the higher the god is, the more they can see all the way down. Through you, through everything. Artica333 saying, I like this game. I like it too. And he's saying that the earth is flat. I disagree. Let's see here. Lois saying she doesn't like this game. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope and wishing that very soon something will happen that will make you love the game. Matthew is asking, if we are in a simulation, why wasn't the plug being pulled yet? Because the simulation is not a secret. It's very simple. It's not a secret that it's a computational space. It's a matter of understanding. Just like it's not a secret that the world at bottom is quantum, it's not a secret that ultimately it's computational. It's just a question of, do we understand that, and how we understand that, and what tools we apply in order to probe that understanding. So the scientific method very much still stands. Do I know if there's more than one God? No is a strong word. From what I've been shown in the space is that yes, there is more than one God. Ultimately, there is one at the top that it's not the biblical one. It is a woman. Big surprise. Which I was also surprised. I have no idea why it would be a gender at all. I mean, if you would think about the ultimate object, not a male and not a female doesn't make any sense to me, personally. Like the Buddhistic approach frame makes much more sense to me. If there would be such a thing, it would be something kind of, a ball of energy of some sort, right? It's everything. But no, it's a woman. It was very strange. Yeah, feminine and masculine balance everything up, but I'm telling you, it's straight up a woman. Like a woman, like the way that you believe a woman is. Like the way we see a human woman, like that. A woman. A female. Have I watched the movie Lucy? Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I know people love this movie, and it is nice. The movie's nice, but it's not the greatest film ever made. I mean, it's okay. And the movie, as far as movies go, like if you judge it by, the same criteria you would judge any other movie, it's a mediocre film. Like there's no, because it's extremely predictable. Nothing really changes. She's just the ultimate badass, right? She can do anything and she kicks everybody's ass. There's no stakes. She's never in danger. There's What is up with this hair? She's never really in danger, so that kind of makes it a little boring. But I like it. I actually like the film. I just that if you want to judge it from the perspective of like a film, it's not a great film. Did I dream that I saw God? No, it was shown to me like a diagram. Like in the space, they literally said, "Okay, you want to know? No problem. Here it is," and literally showed me everything, every single thing, exactly how it stands. Do I think that means that necessarily means that that's how things are? Of course not. But to the extent that I trust what I'm being told in the space, that's the only thing I can report honestly, and that's what I saw. And to that, to your comment, although, um, we are all one. I'm familiar with with the meme, but at least in that vision, it seems that no, we are not all one. There are a lot of other things that are not us. We are, yes, we are part of a unified field of consciousness. That's true, but that is not God, at least according to that vision. What do we have here? 7 to 10. Oh, you mean the members? Yeah, I don't really follow that. I just try to do the best content, and whomever joins, I welcome them. Did you have help to see? Yeah, it was on 4ACO, so synthetic mushrooms. So are we all gods, and then we are just part of a being? So we are not gods. Again, according to this vision, I don't want to. I don't want anybody to take away from this that I'm somehow sitting here claiming that I know the ultimate nature of reality. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to the extent that I trust the vision that I've been shown, I'm reporting it honestly, and that's the report. That we are actually not. I repeat, not gods. We are a very advanced being of a certain kind that operating in a world that has rules and regularities. And no, they're not all what we call mind-made. Some of them are very objective. They are unfolding by certain criteria. So they are unfolding from what I saw according to the fractals of the Mandelbrot set, because it lands it. I think the reason is because it's allowing for evolution that is infinite, complex, and unpredictable, which are three very important components. But the difference between that and being in the God family is that gods have like a very different kind of sets of rules, and they have abilities and things that are just beyond any kind of ability that any being can have within the worlds, even in principle. So like the things in the worlds can never evolve to have godlike powers. Again, according to that vision. I like the idea that we're evolving to become gods. I like it, but that's not what I saw. God created the simulation? Kind of. I think God gave kind of like God. Think of the God as like the CEO, and then it goes down the chain of commands, and then there are, I guess, companies, or I don't know what you want to call them, organizations that make these simulations. And I think some of them are even competing with one another. Who creates a better simulation? So is God fake? No. How did you get that God is fake from everything I just said? What kind of method do you use on the molecule session, and how long does it take, if not a problem to ask? No, not at all. First of all, you guys can always visit. There's a whole website that we created. Oh. Codeofreality.com. I'm going to list it here. On there, you have the full protocol and the lasers that you need to get in order to make this happen. They're very simple. We have the full list of what you can get on Amazon, the parts of the lasers. It's codeofreality.com. For everybody on TikTok, you can just visit the link tree on my profile and you will see that as well. So codeofreality.com, you have the lasers, the full list of what you need to get on Amazon to make it happen. Don't feel obligated to get anything through the website. This is not, the point isn't to make laser sales. You can get it anywhere you want. There's no problem. You can copy the specs that we list. Just make sure that the specs are the same. You can go buy it anywhere you'd like. I can tell you that probably on Alibaba, you're going to get the best deals. Just takes a little longer to get to you and you gotta buy it in bulk. But if you're looking to save money, Alibaba is your address, I would say. We don't list the prices from Alibaba, but I'm telling you for a fact that there'll be a good deal there. So, but also you have the protocol on the website, and you have my email on the website that you can always email me and I will answer any extra questions you might have. Whoa, 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 whoa. Are these people who created the simulations on the same power scale as a human? Are they humans? That's actually a great question. So what I saw in the space that no, most of them are not humans. The ones that are actually running kind of like the management company, they are not humans. But I've seen regular humans there. So what it leads me to believe is that maybe in parallel realities, some humans figure out a way into that space and now they're also there. So like, and I mean like they're there like doing something. They're like working or talking to somebody. And unmistakably, it's not like a vision. It's not like in a dream where you can kind of see it vaguely. I'm talking like in augmented reality. Like I could see it clearly, So most of the beings that are running our layer of reality, from what I saw, they're not humans, no. Oh, so Lo is asking what is the laser for? So maybe it's worth recapitulating for newcomers that don't really know what I'm talking about usually. A few years ago, I've discovered that if you project a diffracted laser on the surface, you can project it on any surface, including your skin, and you ingest what people call the spirit molecule, you will see code running in surfaces, and you will see it 100% of the time. It's extremely realistic. It does not look like a hallucination, and it's replicable across all individuals. It looks exactly the same. You can look at it, you can talk about it. It doesn't behave like a hallucination. So that's the gist of what I've discovered. That's what the laser is for. Go to sleep. Well, soon, yeah, for sure. We'll go to sleep very soon. Why are we sleeping? Charging? Basically, you're being the experiences that you experience throughout the day. They're being uploaded, and you, in return, you get energy to function another day, so to speak. The question is, sorry for the yawns, guys. Long day. Is there a way to break out of reality and see the truth? The second question, yes. The first question, no, because there is no breaking out of reality. It's like, I guess maybe nirvana, what the Buddha was talking about, which is like outside of existence. Maybe that, but that's about it. You don't get to get out of everything that exists. Are we just an experiment? To an extent, but not quite. It's almost like, think of it in terms of layers of operational layers. So you have like all these computational layers that are doing something, And within the matrix of these computations, you allow for entire worlds to arise, kind of like in Rick and Morty, that you borrow some computation from, some energy from. It's actually the ultimate green system. So not like in the Matrix in the movie where we're kind of like slaves used for energy, which by the way, even there, the idea is kind of incoherent because that's actually the most ethical thing that the machines could do, which is they give you an environment to live in which you're completely free to do whatever you want, because the only thing that matters is the experience of it. It doesn't matter what you call, what layer of reality you are. That makes no difference whatsoever. It's what kind of an experience you're having in any given moment, no matter how it comes about. It makes no difference. You stub your toe, if it's inside the matrix, outside the matrix, who cares? It hurts. That's reality, right? So, and the same goes for all the positive experiences. So, it's not like you need to break out of it. It's that you have to learn how to live in the grace of the present moment, which is the only thing that matters, no matter where you are, how you are, when you are, how many dimensions you're made out of. That part of being able to have the best possible experience for as long as you possibly can is always the most valuable thing any conscious being can bring about. So that's the thing that should be focused on. Oh, and to your question, if we are just an experiment, sometimes you can use what is occurring across all these simulations to deduct certain things, to test certain things, to see what happens. But for the most part, they're open-ended, so there's no intervention. There's no they never do, nor can they intervene with your what you would call free will, even though free will by itself is an incoherent concept. But to the extent that you have this experience of choosing, that needs to be completely pure and untouched, because otherwise the experiment goes. You're tainting the data. If you're running some kind of a test in machine learning, if you have too much bias in the system, in other words, you wanted to see a result, so you didn't even notice you injected the bias into the system, it ruins your results. You don't get real results because you don't learn anything, because it carries a bias. Because of that, most likely all the simulations are completely open-ended. They're unfolding according to rules into a space that is impossible to inspect, even in principle, even by the system itself. Can you see a picture of what I saw? If you go to my YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, the second video from the top is a trailer of the movie that we're working on called The Discovery. You'll see it right away. In the trailer, in the beginning, you'll see a piece of paper with code written on it. That's what we see in the laser. Somebody replicated this directly from the laser. Matthew is saying, can I please read and answer the last two questions? Let's see. What happens when we die? What about the energy we create from our body? Where does it go? The truth is that I have no idea, but I think that energy is not really destroyed. I think it's being consolidated with the rest of the system, and then whatever your soul is, what you would call your soul, again, this is my impression, it's kind of like a hard drive. It keeps the most essential things, and the rest of it is being formatted and just erased, and then you start a new life, and then again, only the most novel types of experiences are being consolidated and kept. So by the end of time, all the souls kind of come together into this one ultra mega super moment where everything that was possible to ever experience is being put in one place and create some kind of a impression of what reality was about, so to speak. And let's see, what was your question? Second question. Someone said it was their kitchen stripped down to a blueprint with code. I mean, cool. Yeah, I've seen something like this before. I just have many questions, as many humans do. I'm so lost, but I want to continue my path with God. I understand. So you should continue your path with God. Nothing that I'm saying here, by the way, and if it comes across that way, It's a good thing you're pointing it out to me, if in fact that's what you're pointing out to me. But nothing really changes. With everything I just said, all of these are just, what I've seen with a certain amount of coherence, but it does not change how you should live your life. If your aim was to be with God, to live an ethical life, to be kind to other human beings, in general, just to be, a good player, you should definitely keep doing that. There's no question about that. You will always land in a better place if you aim towards just being the best player. Not in terms of winning, but in terms of, well, the best team player. I think that's really what most of the Eastern traditions kind of come to understand, and I think really all ethical systems. You think Elon Musk, right? He is saying we are in a simulation for sure. So what Elon is saying is based on a white paper written by Nick Bostrom, which, yes, his case is logically hermetically sealed. So yes, the chances that we're not in a simulation, even just from a statistical analysis of the facts, the chances that we're not in one are basically zero. I agree with that. But I also know from direct experience we are in one. So we're like little worker bees, and then there's a master bee queen. Who would be the master, by the way? Do you think we can break reincarnation cycle? Only by getting out of what the Buddha called getting out of the house. So basically getting outside of the system. Do substances open your mind to see reality? Depending what substances. Beyonce. Nice. Anna is saying, female god that you spoke of. What about her? What's up, Hoggy Chambers? Good morning, Sagir. Oh, we have a bunch of comments here. Let me see. Bosh, how are you, brother? Fulminitro. When you say what format, what do you mean by that? Have you seen the Big Last Show or the Sasquatch Show? They're funny too. Psychedelic animation made by. Nope, never seen these shows. Bosch saying, hey Danny, my question for today. I'm wondering, what do you think of the emergent thought of psychedelics? Many people must perceive placebo, but also something information feels like an exterior. I don't think. The short answer is I don't think anybody's perceiving placebo, because placebo is defined as the belief that something will help you cure something in your body, and that thing will happen the more you're convinced of it. Now, first of all, I would say that placebo actually shows you that there's some kind of a occurrence there that is important. In this case, I guess what you're saying is people are seeing all kinds of like implied ideas, which I think is also not true. At least on psychedelics, that's not what's happening. And then Bosch saying, or do you think we're always just projecting our subconscious mind? I think that these terms are very blunt and they don't really capture the truth of the situation. I'm not really sure the subconscious exists, by the way. I know that this might be surprising to people because we think of it in such, everybody kind of thinks that that's the case, that there's like the conscious mind, subconscious mind. I'm not so sure that there's such a thing. I think that there's whatever consciousness is doing, and then there are degrees of awareness, really. That's all it is. And it sounds like a moot point, but I don't think it is. I think it's important to understand that fact about the trajectory of what the mind in general can do, because it gives you the real possibilities of interacting with these spaces versus assumed possibilities. Joanne is saying a table is not a physical thing because a table is really only an understanding of a physical thing and understanding in mental the physical. Well, whatever it is that you perceive is the image and the physicality of whatever you call a table. By definition, is what we call a physical thing. It's not a it's a definition thing. Like that's what we call physical, right? So yes, it is physical because that's what we call physical. The set of these types of criteria that basically is what our senses perceive in this way, through which we can't really move our bodies through, that we can see them. They're not, unless you move them, they don't just move. That's what we call physical, and everything that is implied by that from physics. So I would say no, it absolutely is physical. The 51 Project is saying, I just saw on X an image of a dog having a poo. Someone put a Fibonacci spiral over the image to show the perfect mathematical symmetry. Simulation confirmed. Nice. So when you think a table is a physical thing, then that is an illusion, misunderstanding, and when you have correct understanding, then that is called reality. Simulation does not mean an illusion. It does not mean not real. It means one layer of a much larger reality. It doesn't make any part of the layers any more real than any other one. Ryusei Kanastra saying, Dan, can you expand on that? The beings running our layer of reality. I'm not sure what you mean by expand about that. Like, do you want me to talk more about these beings? I think that's a long subject if you want to talk about these details. I think I might do this tomorrow. You think if someone reached a certain level of enlightenment, that they just ascend into a higher form of being, like you said, you saw humans who may have found a way in. Maybe, but it will be again my impression. Not saying that this must be the case, but it seems to me that it's going to be some combination of what we call mental but also technological. It wouldn't just be whatever. It wouldn't just be like you can just ascend just by being in a state. I think part of it is understanding what is the structure and how you utilize the structure to move in it, even in a physical way. Seen this code on L while a laser went across the wall. Oh, interesting. I never tested it with L, so thank you for letting me know. How often did you do it? Was it through kind of interacting with what I've found, or you just happened to have a laser there? What's up, Hoggle Chambers? What do you think is the simulation ultimate? What do you think is the ultimate goal for us as physical beings? Do you think our ultimate goal is fully ascended to pure light, energy, multidimensional beings? I think that our goal is to populate the universe. Me personally, while being more and more influenced by and guided by what we call the divine. We are the bridge that brings the divine into this space. Marty, I don't think everything is already written. I think it's pretty open-ended. And Bart saying the table is existing in the ether is a potential energy. After we expect the table, the observed atom changes to it. I mean, that's one hypothesis. The thing is that if we truly want to know, and I'm not sure that spiritual people are comfortable with that, but if we truly want to know, you have to be able to test for this. And then the question, how do you test for this? If there's someone simulating the universe, it must be the people who are not taking things for real. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What's the ultimate goal for you, if you don't mind me asking? I don't have an ultimate goal. I think I'm operating under certain values and certain aims, but I don't have an ultimate goal. If there's anything that would, well, one of the values is that if it's true, we want to know it. So, the scientific method. Just because it's not always very clear in the beginning what might be the application on the importance of some kind of a new truth about the world, nevertheless, you want to know it so you can eventually, potentially find that thing. Quantum physics, when it was discovered, it was not clear at all that it would ever have anything to do with our day-to-day lives. But within less than a decade, it basically transformed our entire world. So that's on the side of like, what does it do? I don't know at the moment, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't pursue it. As for what I would like to see, if we can bring humanity together around a common goal, that's a worthwhile aim for me. Put a table on the microscope and see what the table really is. Because it's so Johan Bruns is saying, put a table under a microscope, then see what the table is. Because it's really wood or steel and not really a table, because a table is not physical but only an understanding of a physical thing. Well, no, that's actually just a linguistic game, philosophical linguistic game, and this is incorrect. Because ultimately what you're saying is that everything is some kind of a thing that interacts with other things. So like, it's not steel either, and it's not wood either. It's atoms, but it's not atoms either, because atoms don't really, they're just wiggles in quantum fields. But it's not quantum fields either, because what are they? Well, they're fundamental. What does that mean? How did they come to be? These are very complicated questions. Also, what is consciousness in this whole picture? Is it the fundamental thing? Is it the thing that gives rise to itself, that when it interacts with instances of itself, it appears as physical? But then why does it stay what it appears as physical for certain periods of time? If the answers to all of these questions at the end of, we're all one, okay, then we're playing a different game. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that because I think it's pointless. It's kind of like saying French fries is potatoes. It isn't. French fries is French fries. Yes, it's made out of potatoes, but while it's French fries, it's French fries. Tastes different, different texture. The experience of fries are different than potatoes. So the fact that it is in a different state for a period of time matters. That's my point. So we might just be talking cross purposes, because ultimately to say, well, this is an illusion because if you look closer, it looks like something else, I would say that's an incoherent thought. Because just because it appears different on a different scale, because you found a way to look at it closer or further away from it, does not change the essence of what it really is on the scale that you were looking at before, from the perspective of its functionality and what it means to whatever conscious unit is interacting with it. Something that Vsauce once pointed out, this is a famous, I forget whose quote it's by, I think, but maybe by Franklin. But the quote goes, how many legs does a goat have if you call its tail a leg? The answer is 4, because calling its tail a leg doesn't make it one. So whatever conceptual frameworks you want to attach to it, doesn't change the fact that at a certain scale, for that period of time, it is that thing for whatever it is that you are. What we call a table is a surface on which we put things and work on or cook on or whatever it is. It's a surface of some sort that we humans use for certain purposes. That's what a table is. So in that sense, a piece of wood that is random, that you're using it, you can say that's my table. So in that sense, is it a table? Yeah, it is a table. It is that thing that conscious unit called it in that time, because that conscious unit is not outside of existence. Existence itself, in that instance, is all of these things. It is the conscious unit that is calling it a table. It is the table itself. It is the interaction with the table and the experience of all of these things all at the same time. And because of that, because it has this ultimate nature, this game of like, well, you know that atoms are mostly empty space. No, they're not. They are whatever forces emanated that are keeping that space alive. If there would be no forces that are holding that space what it is between the nucleus and the electrons, then there would be no space of that kind, right? The reason that there's a distance between them is because there's some kind of a force operating there. The electromagnetic force, the strong force, the weak force, they're doing a thing. So, but are the forces really there? See, this is where it gets so tricky, because these forces are just regularities that are happening in the world in some form, and then conscious being notices them. So I would define reality as anything that any conscious unit experiences anywhere. That's what reality is. It's actually the opposite of the idea of the Maya, the illusion, which this is not real. No, it's the only thing that is real. Right now, for you, the only thing that is real is this. Everything else you're talking about getting a magnification of the table, that's not real. That's an idea you have. At the moment, whatever's real is what you're actually experiencing, which essentially is, that was the Buddha's big discovery. That all of these ideas and philosophies and all of these things, they're not reality. Reality is right here, right now, without anything that you're overlaying on top of it. It's just the felt experience of the present moment. And that's the only thing that the Buddha was always focused on, because ultimately he said, if you want true liberation, you have to completely abandon your attachment to everything, from physical matter to conceptual, to concepts, to thoughts, to everything, including, by the way, other humans and all of your emotions and all the beauty that the human life can bring, which actually is a very difficult thing to do. I love the term conscious unit. I like it too. We make it matter? Yes and no. Again, I do think that there's such a thing as an objective layer of reality. Whatever it might be, even if it's made out of mind, for the period of time that it clumps into something that appears as a physical matter that persists, that is the same as saying, is it a table? Yes, it's a table. That's what we call matter. That's what we call physical matter. This state, if you want to say, for example, that at bottom the physical world is mind solidified in some form, that's fine. But the definition of what physical matter is this solidification of the mind for that period of time that appears stable. That's the definition of it. That's why, yes, it is physical. It is objective. It is existing, even if different conscious units don't, some of them might not see them. But still, it's there, it's doing a thing, whatever it is. There we go. We are potatoes. Yes, we are. Okay, so can you explain the logic that brought you to your simulation conclusion? Are you certain that the code is real code and not something else entirely? Maybe something I can't attach a name to at the moment. Yeah, it can be something else, of course. We don't really know what the nature of it is. The details of how I arrived at these conclusions is really the entire movie. So when the movie is ready to go, you guys will know about it. You'll be one of the first ones to know. Oh, that's funny. Manny's asking, like quantum physics, let's say you prove this, would the next goal be to figure out how to use it? Maybe once you unlock this knowledge, that's what takes humanity to the next level. One can only hope. I see this project as a truly global project for humanity, I don't think one individual can crack this. Like, not really. You're gonna need experts from all the fields working together, um, exchanging ideas, and coming to some, like, I think it's a whole, literally a new layer of reality that we just unlocked. So it's cool to be in the position of, finding this, but I really, and I'm saying this not to be like to throw some fake humility or something like this. I do mean this. I do think that ultimately this is almost like humanity's test. Like, in order to crack this, like to make the real discovery, we're gonna have to work together. This is gonna be made by all of us together. And you see this all the time. Like, people email me all the time. They're running their own versions of the experiment. It's really fascinating to watch, to be honest. Excited for this movie. Wish I could see the codes. I'm so scared. Yeah, well, it's a healthy fear. I don't blame you. And the truth is that it really isn't for everybody. Just like going to space isn't for everybody. To be an astronaut, you need to have you need to be comfortable with certain things, and not everybody are comfortable with everything. So, yeah. All right, guys. I think today I will have to adjourn because it's getting a little late. Just gonna do a quick run through. If you want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram, Goller Danny on X, LaserX83 on Twitch. Is it correct? Yes. And Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube, where most of my content live. I've also added a members program on YouTube. If you feel like joining it, it will include personal live Zooms with call with me. Oh my God, my brain is like asleep. Personal live calls, Zoom calls with me, extra lives that are outside of our daily lives, and as well as content that doesn't exist anywhere else across my platforms, some stuff from my personal life, and obviously a lot of early releases of things. And I'm constantly adding ideas to what to add to sweeten the deal. This will allow me to focus on this project more in full time. So I appreciate all the members that already joined. I really do appreciate you. And I appreciate the community as a whole. It's amazing to watch that it slowly grows, and yeah, and that overall we have a really beautiful and loving interaction. Appreciate you all. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, peace and love. Ciao. Oh yeah, if you want to give the live some likes, it definitely helps the algorithm across platforms. TikTok and YouTube and X and Twitch. If you want to give it some likes, I would really appreciate it, because it allows me to focus. It helps the algorithm substantially. Thank you, guys, and have a good night. See you guys.